Hello, Virgo, and welcome into your reading. This is for the first half of September, and we're going to be taking a look at your career and jobs, love and relationships, and then also life path and mission. So before we jump into those specific areas, I'm just going to pull a couple of cards here about the overall, energy of your reading before we get started. All right, got 1, 2, and 3. So the 4 of Acorns, that's going to be your 4 of Wands card, and that's about kind of comfort and community. If you are on a twin flame journey, 4 of Wands usually is signifying union coming up. The Queen of Acorns, that would be your Queen of Wands, and so that in reverse is kind of a little bit of that like selfish, overbearing type of energy. And then your 9 of Shells, that's going to be 9 of Cups coming in reverse. And so that's kind of about kind of feeling unfulfilled and a little bit of like that disappointment. So, there is that positive energy of the 4 of Wands, but then with some of this overbearing, unfulfilled type of energy, it could be that certain things are keeping you from getting to that 4 of Wands energy. So let's go ahead and dive in and see in each of those areas we had talked about what all is coming through for you. So one of the things that's happening right now, we have a lot of planets in retrograde. So a couple of things for you to keep in mind. Venus is in retrograde, but it goes direct on the 3rd. And so that means that your energy is going to be slowly returning. The Venus in retrograde puts a lot of focus on relationships. So hopefully throughout the first half of September, things will be starting to return to normal for you. On the 4th, though, we do have Jupiter going into retrograde. And so that kind of slows things down. So it is something where you have fewer opportunities, but also that does lead you to grow and expand because you're not quite as busy. We're still dealing with that Mercury in retrograde energy, so that's going to happen, or that's going to keep affecting us through the middle of the month. And, that has to do with like a lot of miscommunications and technology issues and sometimes travel and timing. So the first thing we're looking at is your career life path. So in the immediate past or recent past, you've had the Hanged Man in reverse. Currently, you're sitting in the Sun in reverse energy, with the next level of energy being the Empress in reverse. So all of those are reversals in terms of what things are looking like at work. So you've kind of had this feeling of stagnation, like there's a lot of delays and stalling and some resistance, or, maybe it's been some needless sacrifice on your part, which has kind of pushed you into this energy of pessimism, or maybe a little bit of like cockiness, but it comes across more in this case as pessimism, like you feel like you're being shut out of your blessings. And if left along that path unchecked, it's going to be pushing you into this feeling of being unappreciated and blocked creativity. So there are some things that you'll want to address on the work front because it looks like that's kind of deteriorating a little bit. One of the things that's also happening is on the 14th, we have our new moon in Virgo. And so that's usually going to be about like new projects, new routines, stuff like that. But with Mercury going direct the very next day, some of that's going to be a focus on, what things can you get done quickly, or what things have been stalled out that you can push forward and finish up with them. So from a work perspective, if you've been feeling like you've just kind of been like stalled out, because this is a card about stagnation and delays. So I think by the middle of the month, hopefully with that new moon in Virgo, it'll give you some of that energy to push some of that through, so that way you can clear up some space energetically, so that you're not feeling that lack of creativity or that blocked creativity. So hopefully that will be turning around for you. like I mentioned, we do have a lot of planets that are still in retrograde. So a lot of that is that really heavy energy of looking at, okay, what no longer suits me? What do I need to release? What do I need to do to clear up these blockages? And some of the times, honestly, it is tough. You get to that point where you're like, I don't have the energy to keep healing and to keep working on all this and to keep doing this and this. I just want a little bit of a breather. So hopefully with that new moon in Virgo, you'll kind of get that push on, you know, wrapping some things up, taking them off your to-do list. So this is on our relationships and love. In the recent past, you've had 3 of Cups. Then you're currently sitting in the 8 of Swords in reverse with 4 of Pentacles as the next level of energy. So you were having, you know, kind of good, happy in the immediate past. And this is about like celebration and community and coming together there. And your 8 of Swords in reverse is, you know, freedom. Like maybe you've stepped out of feeling like you were imprisoned. You know, normally this card, when it comes in the upright, it's that feeling of being trapped, even though you're not really trapped. So this in the reverse is about kind of breaking free and, you know, moving past some of those obstacles. And then the 4 of Pentacles is about security and kind of some materialism, but a lot of it is the security. So it looks like things have been progressing nicely on the relationship or love trail for you. And with with Venus in retrograde, that did kind of push a lot of people because it's putting heightened focus on your relationship. So kind of that make it or break it type of energy. And so, you know, it looks like for you Virgos, that pushed through very nicely, that you're sitting in a good spot there from a relationship standpoint. And so if we're looking at kind of overall readings, if you are in a twin flame relationship, this is sitting well in terms of moving towards that sense of union. So it looks like that's a very positive message. And let's take a look at your life path and mission. In the recent past, you have the 3 of Wands in reverse, currently sitting in the Queen of Swords in reverse, with Death in reverse as the next level of energy. So in the recent past, you've had kind of this sense of like clinging to the past, and you've been frustrated with some obstacles, and that's left you feeling kind of bitter and cynical and critical. And then the next level of energy that's coming in, that's kind of pushing you into this sense of, you know, having a lack of movement, like you're resisting change. You know, like there's inevitable change coming in and you really don't want it. So I think with that, what we're kind of looking at is, you know, some of these feelings of being disappointed, and with your Queen of Wands in reverse, like that selfish, overbearing energy. I think some of that is down here along your life path. So your relationship looks like it's in a good place. But I think between your career and your life path, there's maybe a little bit of that confusion of what am I doing? Like what is the next step here for me? And a lot of that, as you make your way through some of this retrograde energy where you're doing a lot of self-reflection and meditating, you know, really working on clarity and grounding and what can you do to help find your path. And let's see what cards come out here, if this gives you any sort of indication. All right. Your Gaia card is Winter's End. Regeneration, rebirth, positive outcome. So sometimes here, you know, if you're looking at it like there's this stagnant energy and you really don't know what to do, some of it's just a matter of releasing it and giving yourself space for something new to come in. If your plate is already totally full and burdened, you don't have space for anything coming in. So build off of the positive energy that you have here in your, like in the love and relationships perspective. And if you're not in a relationship, this could be about, you know, your friendships as well and having some stability there. So let this stability help guide you in these other areas. Let's take a look at your moon card and see what comes through there. A new romantic cycle begins. So if you're single and you've gotten to this place of stability, like with your friendships and relationships with family, then you're looking forward to a new romantic cycle. If you're in a relationship, this, all relationships kind of go in cycles, and this is kind of like a new, happy, peaceful cycle. You've been in this good, happy energy here, this celebration energy, moving into this freedom and taking control and security. So you've been in that really good place, and now it's time to build on that. And let's take a look here. Oh, we got a jumper card. Who's fighting for your inner child? So some of this, I would say, since this is an area, and even here with your job, if you are sitting in that energy where you just kind of feel like you've had all this blocked creativity and you're kind of stagnant and you don't really know what to do, look at it this way. Like, what does your inner child want to do? What lights you up? What makes you happy and excited to get up for the day and to start your day off? So, sometimes if it's a situation where you feel like, you've been treated unfairly at work, with this pessimism or whatever, maybe it was a situation where you got passed over for a promotion, or you didn't get a job you were interviewing for, or you just generally feel unappreciated. Some of this who's fighting for your inner child is make sure that you're taking care of you. Make sure that your voice is being heard and you don't just bury it under layers of, oh, well, it's not polite to speak up or whatever the case may be. So make sure you are fighting for your inner child, so that way you feel like you have a voice here. So overall, some good positive energy here, like I said, from the relationship standpoint. And then it's just a matter of, I would say, deeper focus on your life path, your mission, and seeing what you can do in terms of finding what lights you up, finding what makes you happy, to be able to really kind of focus on that piece of it. So I hope today's message has been helpful for you, and there are some other readings. I have recently posted some new Is This Your Person readings, and then also I'll have a twin flame reading coming out within about a week or so as well. I usually do those about every other week. So make sure to hit the notification bell if you wanted to be alerted as those videos come out. Otherwise, I wish you peace and joy along your journey. Until next time, bye-bye.